Hi, and welcome to this week's Ask Steve Schneider. Were you the Villages area? Email your questions into us and we answer them right here on the show. Steve, are you ready for some great questions?
I'm ready. Thanks, Mark.
Here we go. The first one is from Ron in the Villages, and he writes, "Hi, Steve. I've been reading a lot lately about how much risk mutual funds have and how high fees could potentially be. I just retired after 35 years as an engineer. I no longer want to take as much risk as I used to, and I want to know what my fees are. What do you suggest?"
Yep, great questions, Ron, and ones that we hear often. If you have mutual funds that you're invested in, especially ones for a long period of time, nowadays there are much better investments that are replacing mutual funds that have, to your point, a lot less risk quite often and absolutely much lower fees. So if that's your situation, you should definitely come in as soon as possible and look at what the alternatives are for the replacement of those investments.
Steve, when you have a mutual fund, you get this big, thick document, this book, if you will, in your mailbox. What's that called?
Yeah, the prospectus that
Yes.
you get that nobody reads,
I was
and you
about to ask
shouldn't
you,
read.
how many people read them?
Yeah, you
But
don't.
somewhere in there,
Right.
on page 5 and a little more on page 9 and some on page 72, it will spell out all your fees eventually,
Right.
but you do have to hunt for it, and you have to be able to read legalese.
Right.
Can I tell you something funny?
Yeah.
I have one on my night table next to my bed.
To keep you so you can
Because if I
sleep at
can't
night.
sleep,
Yeah,
I open it up,
exactly.
start reading a few pages,
Yeah.
snoring in no time. All right, my next question is from Jennifer in the Villages, and she writes, "Steve, I've had an advisor for over 15 years, and I really like him. I think of him as a close friend. I've told him I want to take a lot less risk, but I can't tell if he's adjusted my portfolio. I have also asked for a plan, and he's told me for years, oh, we'll work on it. Now I'm retiring in 24 months, and I don't have that plan. I feel guilty looking for a new advisor. What should I do?"
Yeah. Don't feel guilty. You actually deserve a plan. And unfortunately, that situation we hear often, that people have had this advisor for a long time, they like them, but they're not really retirement financial planners. And so they hesitate because they don't do a good job at retirement financial planning. So there's nothing wrong with going for a second opinion. That's what we're here for. We offer it no cost, no obligation. You come in, and we'll look at your assets and give you the plan and the recommendations, and then you decide what you want to do. But you can keep them as a friend if you want, but you potentially do better off as a different person as your advisor.
My heart goes out to these folks because
Right.
listen, Steve, they're people that are very nice people. They don't
Yep.
like conflict. They value the friendship piece. But at the end of the day, we're talking about your life savings. There's nothing that's going to be more important than that. In theory, after you retire, it's got to get done right. And I think a lot of people need to put the "I'm looking for this to be done right" over that friendship. Hard to
Right.
do sometimes, yes?
Yeah, absolutely hard to do. And we walk. Fortunately, we've been through it so many times, we can help you walk through it. And it really shouldn't be as, an insult or anything to the old advisor. We kind of use the analogy, it's kind of like a doctor, like we talk about. You don't feel bad leaving your general practitioner to go to a cardiologist, right? It's
Right.
a different specialty. It's basically not anything, the other advisor in this case may have done well where you were accumulating assets, but now you need a financial advisor who specializes in retirement.
I love that.
That's
People-
a good reason why to change.
You need a specialist,
Yep.
and retirement planning is a specialty unto itself. Last question, Marjorie from the Villages. "Hi, Steve. I'm 62 and plan to retire at 65. I have 1.2 million tied up in my 401k at work, 100,000 in the bank, and another 700,000 in a brokerage managed account. Would you recommend seeing an advisor now or waiting until after I retire?"
Well, first of all, congratulations, Marjorie, on reaching it to retirement, and it feels like you're probably pretty well prepared for it. And definitely the answer is see an advisor as soon as possible. The sooner you can get a plan going, not only will you feel better when you do transition into retirement, you'll be better prepared to live throughout retirement with a much better, let's just say, more secure plan. So reach out sooner rather than later.
Steve, thanks so much. If you want information on any of the topics we spoke about here today, hey, give us a call in the office or go to our website.